You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy. The following podcast contains spoilers and rude words. We watch the thing. We watch the thing. Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas and welcome back to We Watched a Thing with Billy and Dave. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Good. We are edging ever closer to the new year here, which means that we're finally getting close to seeing Nosferatu. That's all I really care about. I've got
Movie
my tickets.
of the year. That's my number one. I predicted it, and I fuck you, Julio. I still think it's going to be.
Well, that's right, because next week we will be chatting with our great mates Julio from the Contrarians and Jason from Binge Movies, counting down our worst films of the year. And Julio alluded that Nosferatu might make his list, which it's upsetting to us who haven't had a chance to see it yet.
From every fucking friend list on every social media platform, he will be dead to me if that's the case.
And then the week after that, we'll be doing our best of the year, of course.
Hopefully this year.
Hopefully this year with two guests, waiting to still confirm one of them, but we will at least have Paul from the Countdown with us. And hopefully, you know and love him from the last couple of years he's joined us for that episode. Hopefully we'll have Sean Carney from Sans Pants Radio.
Confirmed that?
Well, he's just moved house and his new house has no internet. So he's waiting to see if he can sort that out.
Go to a fucking Macca's, Carney, pull your fucking finger out and sort your shit out.
But that's not what we're talking about this week. This week we are talking about Netflix original Carry On, a 2024 American action thriller film directed by Jaume Collet-Serra and written by TJ Fixman. It stars Taron Egerton, Sophia Carson, Danielle Deadweiler, and Jason Bateman. And what is it about, Dave?
Can I use the phrase Die Hard 2 yet?
Yeah, you can.
It is about a TSA agent whose girlfriend is recently discovered she's pregnant, and he's all a jitter about that. It's happened unexpectedly, and he's a bit at all. He's adrift in life, shall we say?
Yeah.
And as happens when you're adrift at life, someone hands him an earpiece at work, and he is suddenly has to do the bidding of a initially unseen, quote unquote, maybe terrorist who's wanting him to let a bag through with it and onto a plane. And if he doesn't follow directions, his beautiful girlfriend will be, ping, shot in the head. And it's about how does he navigate this? He's a man of morals. He doesn't want to put potentially bombs or nasty things or nerve agents, as it turns out, to be onto a plane. But he also doesn't want his girlfriend shot because, that'd suck because it's Sophia Carson and she's very pretty. And we follow those. It's a fun action romp.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to this one, mainly because I like the cast.
Good cast.
Particularly Jason Bateman. I think that he's...
like bad Bateman is best Bateman.
Yeah, did you watch Ozark?
Of course. Fucking great show.
He's so good in that show. I mean...
Better than Breaking Bad.
The thing about Bateman is that he's so likable and enjoyable no matter what role he's in, which I think is similar to the Hugh Grant thing. I think that's why, Hugh Grant has really kind of turned to the villain side of things, and Jason Bateman seems to be doing the same thing lately because he's got so much charisma that he's able to be so enjoyable even when he's evil.
And weirdly, it's weird that you bring up Grant because they both seem to get, by their detractors, leveled the same criticism, which is that they're the same in everything.
Same in every role.
And I reckon that's complete bullshit.
I
mean, Bateman in this compared to Bateman in, I don't know,
Arrested Development, Game Night, yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is that he's got the same affectations and stuff.
Well, you recognise his voice, but the performance is utterly different. I think it's a very unfair criticism.
Maybe. Look, I mean, I understand the criticism. I think For me, I don't care.
Well,
I
he's
like
never
Bateman
getting
as
past
Bateman.
Rain Man. We know he's got a lane, but I
Yeah.
think the lane is a lot wider than people give him credit for.
Okay, no, that I'll agree with, and that I think is true. So I was really looking forward to this one, and everything I'd heard was like, "This is the new Die Hard. It's better than Die Hard." You know, you brought up Die
Oh,
Hard 2.
Jesus, really? It's
That's what all of the talk of the town was.
better than Die Hard 2. It's not better than Die Hard.
Thank you. I would agree with that. This is not a better film than Die Hard, but it is a much better film than Die Hard 2.
It's a solid thriller that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think look, there's lots of dumb moments. There has to be a lot of
You can't
suspension
have
of
one of these
disbelief.
films without stupid moments because this shit just wouldn't happen.
No, that's right.
The level of security at airport,
Yes.
there's so many. But if you adhere to believability that much, there would be no thrillers because none of this shit could ever happen. There's too many checks and balances. But if you
Agreed.
can suspend, and I think this is believable enough within the realms of a thriller film.
Exactly, I agree. Within the realms
writing
of
is
what it's
careful
telling you
enough.
the rules are.
The
Yeah.
things that happen, I think, are believable enough that you can get on board with the film.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that this is a fun, solid thriller. Like, it's not the best movie of the year. It's not the best Christmas action film. I personally could have done with more Christmas in this film. It's an odd film. I think it's less Christmassy than Die Hard in a lot of ways, but it's got a lot more Christmas songs on the soundtrack. Basically, this is a film of soundtrack in terms of Christmas.
I genuinely hadn't even kind of clocked the fact that other than they're talking about the fact that it's the busiest time of year for them in their job. So I guess in that sense, this is when the film can only have. But
it's not a Christmas movie like Die Hard is.
Get a Christmas movie feel out of it. I didn't feel it was deliberately attempting to do that. Because it's Die Hard on a plane.
I disagree. That's my one criticism with the film. To me it feels quite obvious that it is deliberately trying to insert Christmas, even though it doesn't need to be. Because, like I said, the soundtrack is almost all Christmas songs. It's just
what was on the soundtrack? Maybe I was that engrossed in the edge of your seat white knuckle action of the film that I didn't even twig to the soundtrack.
Mate, okay, I mean, firstly, sorry to anyone who's watching this on video because Dave and I's cameras will have just been taken over by a Screen Rant article, every song in the movie. Let's see.
Patrons, I'll be very funny like I did about the Chinese restaurant.
Here's the list of the songs. Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen, Holly Jolly Christmas, Michael Bublé, Doo Wop Christmas, Kenny Vance and the Plainer Tones, Last Christmas by Wham, Christmas Baby Please Come Home Darling. Like, it's this...
They're laying that on with a trowel. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And so, to me, that's my biggest criticism with the film, is that it's obviously trying to cash in on being an action film set at Christmas. It's like, this is... Because, let's face it, since Die Hard, we haven't really had a lot. I mean, Reindeer Games, obviously, best Christmas action film there is. But, so that's my one critique, is that the film really, outside of its soundtrack and like a couple of mentions, like, Christmas Eve, the busiest day of the year for airports, there's like, there's no purpose to it other than just like, hey, check this out, watch this movie now at Christmas and give us money. Yeah. But apart from that, I found it, quite solid and enjoyable. Like I said, there are some really dumb leaps in logic that you have to take, but I think there's also a lot of kind of fun, clever things. Like, a lot of what Taron Egerton does to try and get out of this situation, which they're always catching him because they're watching. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it's the kind of thing I would do. Like when he's trying to send a text message through Siri on his watch. That's clever stuff. Like, that's the kind of thing I'd do if I was trying to get out of this situation.
I did think when he's told you've got to get back on the bag checking when his mate's been put back on there.
Oh, and he drops some booze in his coffee cup.
With very little thought goes, I can bust him for being an alcoholic. That's been cooking in the back of his head for a while. You don't just suddenly go, I'll just bust him for being an alcoholic. Is that the first thing? You can't just go, mate, I can't tell you why, but just trust me. Can you just say you're sick and go, no, I'm going to get the fucker fired. The one disappointment I did have, and this probably won't resonate for you because you're a bit young, but anyone of my era will probably get on board. For a film called Carry On, there were not enough double entendres, boob jokes. There was no Kenneth Williams or Joan Sims going, "Oh, yeah, that's a lovely pair of jugs." Very disappointing.
I have to be honest, I actually do think that it's not the best name. And especially because it is hyphenated. Because, yeah, every time I went to search for this movie, I just typed in Carry On. And, of course, yeah, you come up with
Suddenly
the old...
Carry On Nurse, Carry On Up the Khyber, Carry On This, Carry On That.
Yeah.
Vicar.
Let's talk cast, though. Are you an Edgerton fan? Egerton? It's Egerton, isn't it? I keep saying...
Edgerton. I think he's Edgerton. No, wait on. Yeah, I think he's Edgerton, even though it's not spelt the same as
Joel.
And, yeah. Joel and the other one. It's like the Hemsworth. There's always another one, but you don't know who it is. Yeah, I do like him. I'm liking him more as he kind of matures, because it's going to sound terrible, but because he's quite a short, boyish-looking bloke.
He is. He's very boyish.
Career, it didn't matter so much in Kingsman because he was playing like a 20-year-old or whatever.
I still haven't seen any of the Kingsmans.
Oh fuck! Not even the first one.
No, not even. Yeah, I know. I should.
Worth seeing.
Yeah.
Well, first one's worth seeing. Second one's kind of a bag of ass. But I actually really enjoyed The King's Man. It's probably my favorite in the series.
That's the most recent one. That's like a prequel.
It's the prequel where it's Ralph Fiennes and Gemma Arterton. So or it automatically gets points. No, definitely, all of them are worth seeing. Second one's worth seeing just for Elton John, who's hilarious. But didn't mind him in those. But with what was it? Was it Robin Hood? Or
yeah.
There was one of those shitty, terrible things that he was awful in. But I've liked him in the last couple. I mean, obviously, was it Blackberry?
Sorry, not Blackberry. It was Tetris that he was in, wasn't it?
Tetris.
Yes,
it was Tetris. Yeah, but to answer your question, I do like Edgerton more and more with everything I see him in.
Yeah,
I think he's got a really strong career ahead of him.
Yeah. I like him in this a lot. I actually think that he really proved here he has plenty of charisma to carry an action film like this.
It would have been quite easy for this to. I mean, even though he's not on screen for a huge amount of it, a lot of the time it's just a voice. It would have been quite easy for this to be the Bateman show in the way that Heretic is the Hugh Grant show.
Yes, true.
I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is very much the Taron Egerton show.
Yeah. And I actually think, apart from the whole almost direct rip of the plot, I actually think that the biggest thing that makes this an easy Die Hard comparison for me is that much like Willis was in the first Die Hard, Egerton is not who you think of as an action hero. Like you say, he's quite young, he's boyish, he is, he's obviously a lot fitter than you or I. But yeah, he is more of an everyman. And that's what I think I really enjoyed about this film.
He's not a cop on his holidays. The story is perhaps almost deliberately he failed the entrance exam to the police academy. He's stuck in this not dead end. Sorry to any TSA agents out there. But from his perspective, he's treading water in life. Yeah. His girlfriend is far more successful. She's like an airport manager or something, very much a white collar position at the airport. He is bottom of the pecking order in the TSA. He's not even on the scanning desk. He's being trialed for a potential promotion to that position.
Yeah.
This is very much he may as well be a cab driver or something.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a schlub.
Yeah. And I think that that's what I really liked about it, is that because of that, yes, this is an action movie. There's a lot of action scenes, particularly towards the end where he really, just go, I'm going to jump onto this plane and stop this bomb. There's a lot of kind of... But so much of this film
I've diffused a nerve agent once before, I can do it again.
But so much of this film is more like the fun part of Shyamalan's Trap. where it's
The which part of Shyamalan's a trap?
where it's more about thinking through the puzzle. How can I get out of this? Like, what can I do to progress this?
But far better done than.
Oh yes, yeah. And honestly, I mean, look, I love Bateman. You love Bateman. He's fucking
great
awesome
in
in this film.
Theo Rossi, who I love in everything. That dude needs to be in more stuff. I didn't know was in this, but then popped up as kind of like the 2IC, I guess, to Bateman. And fuck, he's good in that kind of something about he's got such an unusual, not unattractive, but unusual face and manner.
Yeah.
He's so recognizable and is always so good in these roles. Ever since I think Luke Cage, the TV series, is the first thing I saw him in, the Marvel one in that Daredevil universe. But he's cropped up in a few things since then, and he's always great. I thought he was great in this. Sophia Carson, I thought was great. I only know her from the shitty Descendants movies on the Disney Channel.
Yes,
but
I know. We both recognized her, and we were trying to figure out what it was, and I had to look it up, and I was like, "Oh, she's the
one that's not
she's
Cameron.
She's the evil queen's daughter in fucking Descendants." Yeah,
yeah. No, she was really good as well.
Yeah,
I mean, there's all the cast I thought were really good.
Yeah. I quite like the twist as well that the guy with the carry-on is much like Egerton, not involved.
Yeah, I didn't even see that coming.
Me neither.
I mean, I probably should have done. It's not, in hindsight, it's not a huge revelation.
Yeah,
but I think it was well concealed.
Yeah, same.
Cleverly done, and I like the fact that he's not. It's almost a shame that they offed him in this, because I would have liked another film with a different protagonist where he's doing, and because he's not a terrorist. He's that was the one thing I really liked. He is just a businessman. He's a fixer. He will take whatever job, if you've got an impossible thing, he's kind of like the anti-Ethan Hunt. If you've got a nefarious thing that needs to happen and no one else can do it, he's your go-to guy that will always get it done. I would have loved a series of things where the heroes change, but the villain is always the same.
Yeah.
And he just always gets away at the end of it in the nick of time.
That's actually a cool concept. Yeah.
Not going to happen now because they fucking nerve gassed him in the fridge. But I tell you what, Taron Egerton put a lot of stock in that shitty airport.
Oh, in that fridge. I know, right? I know. And then he just walks away from it, and I'm like, the fucking gas is still in there, man.
Come in and go, what's in the fridge?
Yes, yeah. No, all in all, I had a good time. I'm a 7 out of 10 with this film. It's not going to change my life. I probably won't watch it every year like Die Hard, but it was a good time.
I will watch this 100 times before I watch Die Hard 2, though.
Oh, 100%. I'm never watching Die Hard 2 again.
What else have we got? Logan Marshall Green pops up very briefly, which I thought was quite cool. That was another little twist that he was, not a goodie.
Yeah.
I would like, as a cameraman, what did you think of the car crash? Because I thought that was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I read a lot of reviews that say it's the worst thing in the film.
I didn't love it. I really did not like the editing of a lot of those sequences. But I mean, look, I didn't think it was atrocious. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't love it, though. I didn't like a lot of the cinematography in the film. But it looks fine enough for what it's doing. And most of the editing didn't annoy me. It's only the car crash scene that did. So
my favorite scene in the film. Yep. Look, I tell you what, he's a weird director.
What else has he done?
Well, he started out with the House of Wax remake, that Paris Hilton one.
Yeah, right.
Which I think was underrated. I really enjoyed that. He did Orphan, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
What else? He did some sort of actiony things. Non-Stop was one of his. He did The Shallows with Blake Lively, which I thought was really
I like that movie. Yeah.
And the Commuter. And then the wheels kind of fell off because then he had back-to-back Jungle Cruise and Black Adam.
I mean,
how is this the same fucking director? Because those are two of the worst films I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years.
I know that famously former co-host of the show Topher jokes that Jungle
He's still
Cruise
in
was
therapy about Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, that Jungle Cruise was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of having to watch bad movies. I didn't hate it. I thought Jungle Cruise was fine.
No, it was fucking god awful, but it wasn't as bad as Black Adam.
Yeah. So how are
Common
you?
denominator being The Rock.
How are you scoring this one?
Look, I'm like 6.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's better than average. It's solid. It's enjoyable. It's not setting the world on fire, but I had a good time. No, fuck it. I'm a 7. I quite liked it.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. All right. You got a couple of mini reviews to throw at us.
What are you giving this one?
Oh, I'm a 7. 7 out of 10 for this one. Yeah.
Oh, so same. Yeah. So yeah, solid 7. Check it out. It's Netflix. It's free, people.
Yeah. 100%.
Speaking of Netflix, I have, and you haven't got to these yet, but I have not left the house since we got back from camping. Just staring at the screen for hours on end. I have watched the whole of season 2 of Squid Game, all in one day. Spoiler free, because I know you're keen.
Yeah.
Not as good as season 1.
Okay.
But not the train wreck that some people seem to think it is. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
With some good moments, like the first one, there are some episodes that are better than others. It's slow to get going, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't expect to be in the game for the first couple of episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was watching it going, are we ever going to fucking actually get to the place?
Does it?
Once you're there, it picks up. But it is the two things that I'll say about it, which won't spoil anything. The writing's a little bit lazy on the character front.
Well, I was just going to ask, does it succeed at making you care about the characters? Because that's what season 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, some of them for sure. There is definitely sort of 2 or 3 new characters that you invest in.
Is there a Marbles type moment where your heart gets punched?
No, not to that extent. It's definitely not as good as the first. The first season, I thought, was fantastic right up until the very end, and I disagreed with our friend Paul on this. I thought the ending was shit, absolute shit. I thought the reveal, the old dude, that whole final denouement, I thought was garbage. It unraveled a lot of my love of the show because I thought it was so ridiculous. But other than that, I thought the show was outstanding. This season is kind of a lot of it is kind of more of the same sort of archetype characters. And there are some differences and there are some characters that work really well, but it's a little bit cookie cutter. You've got your guy that you hate and you've got your guy that's this, and it's less believable because we've seen it before.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing which sets this season aside from the first, and this is not a spoiler because it's been all over the place. The first season felt one and done. I didn't expect there to be a season 2 at the end of that, even though you kind of end on it felt like it's ending up in the air, but that's the end, and that's just kind of the style of ending it is. The ending of this is very much wait for season 3 next year. This is obviously kind of part 1 of 2 parts.
Oh, okay. I did not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't say more than that, but it's we know there's a season 3 and it's coming next year. We're not waiting a long period of time like we did for this one.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they were all filmed back to back and it's already done.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So the way you're saying that
10.
makes me think that most of the characters must live. Okay, all right. Don't say anything else. I'm very curious to watch it.
I'll move on.
But in your this is a recommend from you. You would say that although it's not as strong,
not as hearty as season 1, and I mean, Squid Game I didn't think was as good as another show, Alice in Borderland.
Yeah.
Which, and the only reason I bring it up is I've literally just started watching that with Leah tonight
from season 1.
Yeah.
I loved season 1. I haven't watched season 2 yet of that show, but I loved season 1.
Of that far stronger than season 2 of Squid Game.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, in order of priority, Alice in Borderland season 1,
Yeah.
Alice in Borderland season 2, and Squid Game season 1 kind of level peggings. And then Squid Game season 2,
Yeah, okay.
a fair step down,
Yeah.
but still a recommend. If you watch season 1 of Squid Game, I can't imagine why you wouldn't watch season 2.
Yeah.
There's certainly nothing about it that I would say, don't, it'll spoil anything. It's just don't expect it to be quite the home run that most of season 1 was.
Yeah.
One thing which has impressed me enormously, which I knew nothing about, is another Netflix show, which I don't think you'd even come across.
No, you mentioned it, and I was like, "What is that?" I hadn't even heard of it.
It popped up in one of in the little carousel of recommended things. Is a mini series called Black Doves.
Yeah.
Which is a spy series with Keira Knightley and Ben Whishaw, which I reckon is pretty fucking great.
So I'm guessing
it.
it's a British produced series, given that they're the two cast. Yep.
Yep. 100% British. Similar sort of vibes to Slow Horses, but a little bit more kind of action in there.
Yeah.
Not quite as Slow Horses is kind of halfway between Black Doves and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. This is a little bit more actiony, but very, very solid. She's fantastic. Wishaw is fantastic as always. It's a big recommend for me. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I've added it to my watch list.
Really, really, really good.
We're looking for a new show because we just I had COVID last week. Great timing at Christmas, and so we binged the first 2 seasons of Shrinking and absolutely fell in love with it. Fantastic show. So now we're
I think that's Bill Lawrence's best show.
Honestly, I would agree.
Shrinking, I think, is the best thing he's done. I think
I would 100% agree. Did you hear that Scrubs is officially coming back for another season?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to honestly, because Shrinking is a very similar show in a lot of ways. It's definitely more comedy forward, but the drama is there. It's a very ensemble cast. Yeah, very ensemble cast. I'm curious to see, because honestly, I would tend to agree this is the best show he's done. So I'm very curious to see how he goes revisiting Scrubs now that he's progressed so much in his career.
So you finished. You're finished on Shrinking.
Yeah, last episode aired on Christmas Day, and that was the end of season 2.
Last scene of the last episode. Holy shit!
Yeah,
wow, I was on the edge of my fucking seat.
Yeah,
for that final scene at the train station.
Yeah,
Jesus.
So we're looking for something new. I've had a lot of recommendations for the new Matlock reboot with
What?
Yeah, new Matlock. With no, I understand making that face, but what if I said to you, Kathy Bates?
Didn't she just do something else recently where she was maybe it's the same thing, and I'm just didn't know what she is. Weirdly, for someone her age, she's a new recruit or an intern at a law firm.
That's Matlock. That's Matlock.
That's Matlock.
She's like an old lady who cons her way into working at a law firm, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews about it.
Daughter of Matlock or something?
No,
is that
totally fresh Matlock? Not like it's a reboot, not a sequel show, not anything like that. It's just like a retelling basically.
And so I remember seeing that trailer and thinking, this gives me kind of Fried Green Tomatoes, the Whistle Stop Cafe vibes, where she's the kind of sassy middle-aged one. No, I've got more insurance. When she walks into the boardroom as she's supposed to be getting coffee or something, and she comes in and throws out some line that changes the course of the whole case or something.
Yeah. So I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard nothing but rave reviews. So that's what I was going to go to next, but now maybe I'll give Black Doves a spin instead.
It's quick. It's only like 6 or 8 episodes or something, and if you're like me, you'll kind of get engrossed after the first 1 or 2 and just sit and kind of burn through them.
Yeah, nice.
Then you can watch, what's the other Bill Lawrence one that I really liked recently? Oh, highest recommend always for Cougar Town. That's, if you haven't watched Cougar Town, fucking that should be the first thing on your list.
Yeah.
No, the new Vince Vaughn thing.
Monkey Bone, Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey, I think it's called.
I haven't watched that yet either. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, nice.
If you like Carl Hiaasen novels, it's that. I mean, it is his based on one of his, but it's got that Florida Keys crime thriller vibe.
Yeah, nice.
I thought that was really good.
Nice. All right, well, that's it from us this week. As mentioned, next week we will be looking at our worst films of the year. And
we're going to have to preface that. Maybe we'll do a kind of standalone, because we need to do Nosferatu.
As its own episode. Okay, well, what if on Thursday we do Nosferatu?
Yeah.
All right, let's do... All right, okay, how about this? Next week, the regular episode will be Nosferatu, and then we'll drop the worst of the year as a bonus ep on Monday.
So you get two for the price of
two
one.
episodes next week, and then in very short order after worst of, we'll have our best of as well. So
yeah, which will also have Nosferatu in it.
Well, you don't know that yet. You haven't seen it. I'm very keen though. I'm actually considering seeing it at the IMAX. We just got an IMAX.
Oh, that's what I want to do. I've been looking at times for the IMAX, and I've been. I don't think I included you because you hadn't seen it, but I've been messaging Gerald and Julio, who both. I mean, Julio's seen it. Gerald's seen it 3 fucking times, including at IMAX, to get a gauge of whether I should take Leah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. We just got an IMAX here, so I went the other night, saw Interstellar is showing for its 10th anniversary. Fucking underrated movie. I still think it's one of Nolan's best. It's
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, it's hard to say a movie like that is underrated because it's, at the end of the day, it's still a Nolan film.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who think it's crap compared to his. I reckon it's probably, I'd put it third after Prestige and Inception.
I'd have it above Inception. Easy. Hands down, I'd have it above Inception. Damn. I think Inception's one of the most overrated movies of the last 50 years. If I wasn't already playing the outro music, I'd be dropping P. Dizzle's Big Call.
That's more of a big call than the last 4 times you've used that sound drop.
All right, well, that is it from us for now. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. Definitely go ahead and join the Pottymouth Facebook listener community. And go check out the rest of the shows on the network. We're still hunting for the perfect album. If you want to check out the Patreon.
60-odd episodes or something on that?
Yeah, 100%, something like that, yeah. Go check out our Patreon where we've got bonus shows. We've got Shyamalanigans where we're going through M. Night Shyamalan's filmography. We've got True Classics where we're looking at real classic albums.
And to get some nice traits on that one, I think.
Yeah. And that's it. We will catch you next week.
Goodbye.